I still remember the exact moment my future drove away in a cherry red Mustang. My college fund, transformed into 420 horsepower of betrayal, wrapped in a bow with my brother's name on it. My name is Lucille, and I was 18 when I learned that family loyalty has a price tag. Isn't it beautiful? My mother's voice dripped with pride as she filmed Ruben circling the driveway. He's worked so hard. He deserves this boost before starting college. I stood frozen on our front porch, still holding the acceptance letter from Stanford that had arrived that morning. The same letter I'd planned to celebrate with them over dinner. That's my college fund, isn't it? Oh, honey. Mum's camera didn't waver from Ruben's victory lap. You're so smart. You'll figure something out. You always do. Dad cleared his throat behind me. There are plenty of good state schools, Lucy, and you can always take out loans like other kids. The engine revved as Ruben pulled up beside us. His grin was blinding. Come on, sis. Take a ride with me. I felt sick. I have work in 20 minutes. Since when do you work? Ruben laughed. Since 3 months ago, at Denny's. Not that anyone had noticed. I'd been picking up every shift I could, saving for books and supplies. What a joke that seemed now. Mum finally lowered her phone. Lucille, don't be dramatic. Your brother needs reliable transportation for college. You know how dangerous public transit can be. And my education? What about that? You're stronger than him, Dad said quietly. You can handle it. I looked between them, Mum already turning back to Ruben, Dad avoiding my eyes, my brother gunning the engine of my future. Something inside me hardened. I have to go, I said, walking toward my beaten-up Honda Civic, the one I'd bought myself with summer job money. Lucy, wait, Ruben called out. We're having cake. Mum got your favourite. I stopped. My favourite is chocolate. That German apple thing in there is yours. The silence that followed was almost satisfying. At work, I mechanically filled coffee cups and took orders, my mind racing. The numbers wouldn't stop spinning. 4 years at Stanford, 60,000 per year, my measly savings, the crushing weight of loans. More coffee, hun? A regular customer, Barbara, held up her cup. Sorry, yes. I poured, trying to steady my shaking hands. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I forced a smile. Just college stress. You know how it is. Barbara nodded sympathetically. My daughter's applying too. These schools are so expensive now. Thank God for her college fund. We've been saving since she was born. The coffee pot nearly slipped from my grip. Must be nice, I whispered. During my break, I sat in the walk-in freezer, my unofficial crying spot, and made 3 calls. First to Stanford's financial aid office, then to a student loan provider, finally to the community college across town. My phone buzzed with a text from Ruben. Taking Melissa for a ride. She says the car is hot like me. I stared at my reflection in the freezer's steel wall. My eyes were red, but something else had changed. The hurt was still there, but now it had company. Cold, calculating anger. Order up! Jake, our cook, yelled through the window. I grabbed my notepad and stepped back into the dining room. Table 6 needed ranch dressing. Table 3 wanted their check. Normal people living normal lives while my world imploded. At midnight, I pulled into our driveway. The Mustang gleamed under the porch light, taunting me. I sat there for a long moment, then pulled out my phone and opened my banking app. The savings account I'd started at 16 had exactly $3,247.82 in it. Not even enough for one semester's books. Inside, on the kitchen counter, sat a piece of untouched German apple cake with a note. Saved you a slice. Ah. I dropped the plate into the trash, note and all. In my room, I opened my laptop and started searching. Student loans, work-study programs, scholarships, anything and everything. My acceptance letter to Stanford lay crumpled beside me, a dream turned to paper. Just wait, I whispered to my dark room. One day it'll be my turn. I didn't know then how long I'd have to wait, or how complete my revenge would be when it finally came. But sitting there, surrounded by the ruins of my carefully planned future, I made myself a promise. I would never need them again. And when the day came that they needed me, because it would come, I'd remember this moment. The sound of a Mustang engine roared in the distance. My brother, still out living his best life. I opened a new spreadsheet and titled it Plan B. Ramen noodles taste different at 3 a.m. when you're studying in the break room of a 24-hour diner. They taste like necessity, like survival. You look dead, Maria, the night cook, said as she dropped an extra egg into my cup. Third all-nighter this week. Finals. I highlighted another paragraph in my economics textbook. Plus morning classes, then afternoon shift here, evening shift at the library, sleep is for the week. Girl, you're going to break yourself. Maybe I already had. 6 months into community college and I was running on caffeine and spite. But my GPA was perfect and every spare dollar went into my transfer fund. Stanford might be out of reach, but I'd found a decent business program at State that would take me after 2 years. My phone buzzed. Mom again. Reuben made Dean's list, having a little celebration dinner tomorrow. Coming home? I typed back. Can't. Sick. Studying for finals. 3 dots appeared then. Always studying. You work too hard, sweetie. Learn to enjoy life like your brother. I turned the phone face down and went back to my textbook. The words blurred together. Hey! A guy in a wrinkled button-down appeared at my table, clutching his own textbook. Mind if I join? Every other seat's taken. I gestured to the empty chair, not looking up. I'm Alejandro, suffering through business law, economics, Lucille. Ah, the dismal science! He pulled out his notes. You're in Professor Williams' class, right? I've seen you there. Always front row, always prepared. Someone has to be. We studied in comfortable silence until my break ended. As I stood to leave, he said, There's a study group meeting at the library tomorrow. You should come. Can't. Working. Both jobs? I paused. You know about that. Like I said, I notice things. The group meets Thursdays too. For some reason I found myself saying, Thursdays work. The study group became my lifeline. Alejandro brought coffee and actually funny jokes. Others brought notes and sympathy. For 3 hours each week, I felt almost normal. Until the holiday photos started arriving. Look where your brother is. Mum's text showed Reuben on a ski slope in Aspen, perfect smile gleaming. His friend's family invited him for winter break. I was in the walk-in freezer again, but not for crying this time, just for quiet. Lucille. It was Barbara, my regular customer. Honey, are you okay? Fine. I wiped my face. Just inventory. She wasn't buying it. Come sit with me. I'm on break too. At her table, she pushed a piece of pie toward me. Talk. So I did. About the college fund, the car, the endless shifts. About watching my brother's perfect life unfold on social media while I calculated how many hours of work equaled one textbook. You're angry, she said finally. I'm tired. No. Her eyes were kind but firm. You're angry. And you should be. Something in me cracked. They act like I'm some kind of robot, like I don't need help or support or just a damn phone call that isn't about Reuben. Then stop answering their calls. I looked up. What? You're killing yourself trying to prove something to people who aren't even watching. Stop. Focus on you. That night, I missed 3 calls from Mum about Reuben's latest adventure. Instead, I went to the library with Alejandro. You seem different, he said as we studied. Good different. Lighter, he smiled, like you finally put down something heavy. My phone buzzed again. Mom, why aren't you answering? Reuben has big news. I turned off the phone. Very good different, Alejandro said. The semester ended. I aced my finals. No one came to see my grades posted. No celebration dinner. Just me and my 2 jobs and my slowly growing transfer fund. But something had shifted. The anger was still there, but it wasn't eating me alive anymore. It was hardening into something else, something focused. You should come home for Christmas, Mum tried again. Reuben misses you. Can't, I texted back. Picked up extra shifts, saving for next semester. Always about money with you, she replied. Family should come first. I stared at those words for a long time before typing, yes, it should. Then I blocked their numbers. Alejandro found me in the library later. Want to get coffee? You look like you could use a break. Actually, I said, I could use a friend. He smiled. You've already got one. Outside, snow was falling. Somewhere in Aspen, my brother was probably still skiing. But for the first time in months, I didn't care. I had my books, my jobs, my perfect GPA, and now maybe a real friend. It wasn't much, but it was mine. Graduation day at State University. My name echoed across the auditorium. Lucille Newman, summa cum laude. I crossed the stage, accepted my diploma, and searched the crowd. They were there, third row, centre, looking uncomfortable and out of place. Mum fiddling with her phone, Dad checking his watch, Reuben holding up his camera with visible boredom. "Smile, sis," he called out, barely looking through the viewfinder. I didn't. After the ceremony, they found me in the crowd. Mum's hug was stiff, performative. "We're so proud," she said, eyes already scanning the parking lot. "Though you could have picked a shorter ceremony, Reuben's missing an important networking event to be here. Nobody asked him to come." "Family supports family," Dad muttered, but wouldn't meet my eyes. Reuben lowered his camera. "Got some great shots. I'll post them on my new lifestyle blog. My followers will love the whole supportive brother angle." I stared at him. "You're what?" "My brand. I'm becoming an influencer. You know, luxury lifestyle content. Mum and Dad helped me set up my studio." Of course they did. "Speaking of support," Mum cut in, "we should discuss your plans. Moving back home would help you save money while you job hunt." "I start at Morgan Stanley next month, in Chicago." Silence. "Chicago?" Dad frowned. "That's so far." "That's the point." More silence. "Well," Reuben said brightly, "at least let me post these pics. Family success story and all that." "No?" "Come on, it'll be great content." "I said no!" I turned to leave, but Mum grabbed my arm. "Lucille, don't be difficult. Your brother's trying to build something here." I pulled away. "Goodbye, Mom." "That's it," Reuben called after me. "No celebration dinner?" I kept walking. 2 weeks later, I was unpacking in my tiny Chicago studio when my phone rang. Unknown number. "Is this Lucille Newman?" "Yes." "This is Margaret Walsh from First National Trust. I'm calling about your Aunt Patricia's estate." I sat down. "I'm sorry, my what?" "Your Aunt Patricia. She passed away last month. She left you a small trust fund." "There must be a mistake. I don't have an Aunt Patricia." "Patricia Newman? Your father's sister?" Memory flickered. "A Christmas card once, years ago." Dad had thrown it away, muttering about family disappointments. The trust wasn't huge, $40,000, but it was mine. No strings, no guilt, no family drama, just a gift from someone who'd apparently understood what it meant to walk away. I called Alejandro that night. He'd moved to New York after graduation, but we still talked weekly. "A secret aunt?" He laughed. "That's some telenovela stuff right there." "Dad never mentioned her." I had to Google her obituary. I paused. "She was a financial advisor. Built her own firm from nothing. Sounds familiar." "She never married, never had kids. Dad called her selfish." "Also sounds familiar?" "Shut up." But I was smiling. "I just wish I'd known her. Maybe she knew you, better than you think." The next day, I opened an investment account. Aunt Patricia's money would grow. I'd make sure of it. Months passed. I threw myself into work, making a name at Morgan Stanley. My boss, Paige, took me under her wing. "You've got an edge," she told me during my first review. "Something driving you." "Just ambitious." "No." She studied me. "You're building armour. Question is, what are you protecting yourself from?" I didn't answer. That night, scrolling through social media, I saw Reuben's latest post. Him posing beside a rented Ferrari, caption reading, "Living my best life. Blessed under you luxury lifestyle." The comments were gushing. Mum's especially. So proud of my baby boy, following his dreams. I closed the app and opened my investment portfolio instead. The numbers were growing. Steady, quiet growth while Reuben chased likes and Mom chased his shadow. My phone buzzed. A text from an old high school classmate. "Hey, weird question. Did you know your brother's trying to start some luxury consulting business? He hit me up for a loan. Seemed desperate." I screenshotted the message. Another buzz. "Alejandro, you free this weekend? I'm in Chicago for work." "Always free for you." "Good. Because I have news about that real estate law project I mentioned." I smiled. Alejandro had been dropping hints about some opportunity, something that would need my financial background. "Buy me dinner," I texted back, "and I'll listen to your pitch." My phone lit up one more time. Mum. Thinking of you. Ruben's having a brand launch party next month. He'd love to have his successful sister there for photos. I didn't respond. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. Besides, I was building something else now, something they'd never see coming. Your brother's empire is crumbling, Alejandro said, sliding his phone across the restaurant table. Check his latest numbers. I scrolled through Ruben's social media analytics. Engagement down 70%. Sponsorships cancelled. Comment sections filled with accusations of fake luxury lifestyle posts. Turns out you can't build a brand on borrowed watches and rented cars forever, I said, handing the phone back. That's not all. Alejandro leaned forward. My firm handled 3 of his rejected loan applications last month. He's underwater on credit cards and that fancy car lease. Defaulted. I sipped my wine, savouring the information like a fine vintage. And our parents? Remortgaged their house 6 months ago, probably to bail him out. Perfect. My phone buzzed. Speaking of the devil, Mom calling. Take it, Alejandro said. Could be interesting, I answered on speaker. Hello? Lucille! Oh, thank goodness. I've been thinking about you so much lately. It's been 2 years, Mom. Has it? Time flies. How's Chicago? Still at that investment place? Morgan Stanley? Yes, I'm a senior analyst now. That's nice. She paused. Actually, I'm calling because your father and I miss you. And Ruben. He talks about you all the time. Alejandro rolled his eyes. Really? I kept my voice neutral. Last I saw, he was busy being an influencer. Oh, well, that's taking a break. The market's so saturated, you know. But he's got amazing new opportunities coming up. He's going into real estate development. I caught Alejandro's eye. Here it comes. Actually, Mum continued, we're having a family dinner next weekend. Would you come? Ruben has something important to discuss. I'm pretty busy. Please, Lucille. Family should stick together during transitions. The desperation in her voice was delicious. Send me the details, I said. I'll check my calendar. After hanging up, Alejandro shook his head. They're setting you up. Obviously. You know what they want. Money. I smiled. Or more specifically, my credit score. Are you going? Of course. I reached for the wine bottle. I've been waiting years for this dinner. The following weekend, I pulled up to my parents' house in my new Mercedes. The contrast with Ruben's conspicuously absent luxury cars was striking. Mum opened the door before I could knock. Lucille, you look expensive. Senior analyst, remember? The house smelled like my childhood. Mum's lasagna, her go-to manipulation meal. Dad hovered awkwardly in the living room. Princess! He moved for a hug but stopped short. Nice car out there. Thanks. Paid cash? Their expressions were priceless. Ruben bounded down the stairs, designer clothes somehow looking cheaper than before. Sis, you made it. Wouldn't miss it. Over dinner, the performance began. Mum reminiscing about childhood memories. Dad praising my business sense. Ruben telling sanitized versions of his influencer downfall. But that's all behind me now, he announced. I found my true calling. Luxury real estate development. Really? I cut my lasagna. Interesting market for that. That's what I wanted to discuss. He leaned forward. I found this amazing property. Waterfront, modern design, incredible potential. The perfect starter mansion for my new brand. Mum beamed. Dad studied his plate. Sounds expensive, I said. Well, yes. Ruben laughed nervously. But with the right investment partners. He means family partners, Mum interjected. Supporting each other's dreams. I set down my fork. How much? The house is listed at 2.8 million, Ruben said quickly. But I only need a co-signer. The bank loves my business plan. They just want extra security. Because of your credit score? Silence fell. Lucille, Mum warned. No, it's okay, Ruben said. I've had some setbacks, but this is different. This is real investment, not social media stuff. I've learned my lesson. Have you? People make mistakes, Dad finally spoke. Family helps family recover. I looked around the table. Mum's pleading eyes, Dad's discomfort, Ruben's practiced sincerity. 3 people who'd never helped me recover from their mistakes. Send me the paperwork, I said. I'll review it. Really? Ruben's face lit up. Really? Alejandro's text read later that night. Trust me, I replied. Everything's going according to plan. My phone buzzed again. Mum. Thank you for considering this. You've always been the strong one. I thought of Aunt Patricia's trust fund, quietly multiplied through careful investment, of the connections I'd built at Morgan Stanley, of the legal groundwork Alejandro had laid. Yes, I texted back. I am. Strong enough to wait for the perfect moment, strong enough to make it hurt. This is it! Ruben spread his arms wide, spinning in the empty great room of the waterfront mansion. My future empire starts here. The real estate agent, Tracy, hovered nearby with a practised smile. The views are spectacular, and the private dock can accommodate up to a 50-foot yacht. Mum touched the marble countertops reverently. It's perfect for your brand relaunch, honey. I walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows, studying the water below. What's the asking price again? 2.8 million, Tracy said. But there's already been significant interest from qualified buyers. I turned, eyebrow raised. Tracy's smile flickered. Lucille, Mom hissed. Don't be rude. Just doing due diligence. I pulled out my phone. Mind if my attorney reviews the paperwork? Attorney? Ruben's confidence wavered. It's a standard mortgage, sis. Alejandro specialises in real estate law. He's on standby. Mum intervened smoothly. Let's discuss details over lunch. I packed your favourite. Remember those picnics we used to have? German apple cake? I asked innocently. She flushed. Well, no, but... Tracy, I cut in. Could you walk me through the property taxes and HOA fees? The numbers were exactly what I expected. Astronomical. Ruben's eyes glazed over as Tracy detailed the costs, but I caught every figure, every trap. Perhaps we should discuss financing, Tracy suggested diplomatically. Ruben brightened. My sister's a financial genius. Senior analyst at Morgan Stanley. Really? Tracy's interest sharpened. And you'll be co-signing? We're reviewing options, I said. My phone buzzed. Alejandro. Got the preliminary paperwork. This is worse than we thought. Call me. Excuse me, I stepped onto the balcony. Work call. It's a disaster, Alejandro said when I answered. The down payment alone would drain him. Monthly payments are triple his documented income. Perfect. Lucille? Are you sure about this? I watched through the window as Ruben gestured excitedly, probably planning where his YouTube studio would go. Absolutely sure. Back inside, Mum was already planning the housewarming party. Dad had finally arrived, looking uncomfortable as usual. There you are. Ruben grabbed my arm. Come see the master suite. It's influencer heaven. The bedroom was bigger than my first apartment. Ruben bounced on the massive bed while Tracy detailed the custom closets. Just imagine the content I could create here, he gushed. My followers will go crazy. All 12,000 of them, I muttered. What? Nothing, I smiled. When do you need an answer about co-signing? Tracy stepped forward. The sellers want to move quickly. Perhaps we could... Let's discuss it over dinner, Mum interrupted. I made reservations at that lovely Italian place. At the restaurant, the performance reached its peak. Mum ordered expensive wine. Dad actually participated in conversation. Ruben was on his best behaviour. Remember when Lucille used to help me with math? He said, laying it on thick. She always knew how to explain things. You were a terrible student, I replied. But you never gave up on me. He raised his glass. To family! Mum wiped away a tear. Dad cleared his throat. My phone buzzed again. Alejandro. Modified contract ready. Just say when. Speaking of family, Mum set down her wine. We should discuss the practical details. Yes, I said. Let's. The bank needs some reassurance, Ruben began. Just a signature, really. You won't be responsible for anything. Except if you default. Silence. Which won't happen, Mum jumped in. Your brother has learned so much from his experiences. Has he? I turned to Ruben. Tell me about your business plan. Well, luxury real estate content is huge right now. I'll do house tours, lifestyle videos, maybe some coaching. With what audience? I'm rebuilding. This house is the foundation. Of more debt? Lucille, Dad warned. I pulled out my phone. Let me show you something. I opened his credit report, legally obtained through my banking connections. Want to explain these numbers? Reuben paled. Mum reached for more wine. I can explain. You don't have to, I said calmly, because I'm going to help you. Hope bloomed on their faces. Really? Reuben's eyes watered. Sis, I knew you'd understand. I'll co-sign. Mum actually clapped. But, I continued, I have conditions. My lawyer will draw up the paperwork. Lawyer? Dad frowned. It's just a mortgage. I smiled. Nothing is ever just anything. My phone buzzed one final time. Alejandro. Contract ready. Are you sure you want to do this? I looked at my family's eager faces and typed back, They taught me well. Always get everything in writing. The trap was set. Now to watch them walk right into it. The bank's conference room felt like a theatre stage. Nancy, the loan officer, arranged documents with practiced precision while Reuben bounced in his chair like a kid at Christmas. Just a few signatures, Nancy said, and we can proceed with the mortgage. Mum squeezed Reuben's shoulder. This is such a special moment. Very special, I agreed, setting my briefcase on the table. Nancy, I have some additional paperwork to include. Additional? Mum's smile faltered. Just a side agreement between siblings. I pulled out Alejandro's contract. Standard protection clauses. Nancy adjusted her glasses. The bank's documentation is comprehensive. This is separate. A private contract between my brother and me. Reuben barely glanced at it. Whatever you need, sis. Where do I sign? Perhaps we should review it first, Dad suggested. It's simple. I slid the contract across the table. I'm co-signing with specific conditions. If Reuben misses any payments, the house and all associated assets transfer directly to me. The room went silent. That's... Mum started. Standard practice, I finished. Ask Nancy. Nancy nodded reluctantly. Co-signers often include protection clauses. But family is different, Mum protested. Exactly why we need everything in writing. I turned to Reuben. Unless you're planning to default. Of course not. He laughed nervously. This is my dream. I'll never miss a payment. Then there's no problem. Dad picked up the contract. No grace periods, no payment plans. He deserves a boost, I quoted, watching Mom flinch. Isn't that what we believe in? Reuben grabbed a pen. It doesn't matter. I've got this all figured out. My new business plan. Sign or don't, I interrupted. But I won't co-sign without this agreement. Nancy cleared her throat. We should proceed if we want to close today. Mum tried one last time. Lucille, surely we can discuss. No discussion needed. Reuben scrawled his signature. See? Done. Now you sign, sis. I signed slowly, savouring each letter. Nancy notarised both contracts. Congratulations, she said. You're now officially co-owners of 47 Lakefront Drive. Reuben whooped and hugged me. This is going to be amazing. Wait till you see what I do with the place. I patted his back stiffly. I'm sure I will. Outside the bank, Mum pulled me aside. That contract was cruel. Cruel would be enabling him without consequences. We're family. Yes, I cut her off. We are. And family deserves honesty, right? So honestly, Mum, he'll default within 6 months. You don't know that. His credit report says otherwise. His failed business says otherwise. But don't worry. I'll take good care of the house when it's mine. She stepped back like I'd slapped her. You planned this. Did I? Or did you teach me how family helps family? Dad appeared behind her. The realtor's waiting, Catherine. I watched them hurry to their car. Mum already on the phone, probably planning the housewarming party. Reuben was taking selfies by the bank's sign. My phone buzzed. Alejandro. Done? Signed and notarized. You know he'll never keep up those payments. That's the point. What happens when they figure it out? I watched Reuben pose for another photo. They won't. Not until it's too late. That night, I received dozens of messages. Photos of Reuben with his new house keys. Mum's lengthy thank you text about family bonds. Dad's awkward attempt at an emoji. I ignored them all and opened my investment portfolio instead. The numbers were solid. More than enough to cover the mortgage when, not if, Reuben defaulted. Paige, my boss, had questioned my strategy over lunch last week. You're risking a lot on revenge, she'd said. Not revenge, I'd corrected. Investment. Now watching Ruben's first house tour video go live, incredible mansion tour, my new life begins. I felt nothing but calm certainty. The video showed him bouncing through empty rooms, making grand plans. And here's where the streaming setup will go. Once the brand deals start rolling in, comments were already appearing. How can you afford this? Didn't your last business fail? Is this another fake flex? I closed the app and texted Nancy. Keep me updated on the payment schedule. Will do, she replied. Though between us, I give it 4 months max. I smiled and opened my calendar, counting the days until the first mortgage payment was due. Ruben had no idea he'd just signed away his future. But then again, he'd never understood the true cost of things. That was about to change. The first payment bounced exactly 47 days after closing. Just a bank error! Ruben's voice crackled through my phone. I'll fix it tomorrow. The second payment never came. By day 90, Nancy's updates became daily. Final notice sent. No response to calls. Foreclosure proceedings beginning. On day 103, Mum called. He's trying his best, she pleaded. The brand deals fell through, but he has leads. The contract was clear. He just needs more time. Your father and I could help, but after remortgaging our house for his last venture. Not my problem. He's your brother. Was he my brother when you spent my college fund on his car? Silence. Then quietly, you've been waiting for this, haven't you? 4 years, 2 months and 17 days, but who's counting? The foreclosure notice arrived on a Tuesday. I had it framed. Ruben's social media went dark after his tearful emergency truth about my mansion video flopped. The comments were brutal. Called it another fake influencer. Must be nice having rich parents to bail you out. Karma's real, bro. On day 120, I pulled into the mansion's circular driveway. Ruben's latest borrowed luxury car was gone, replaced by our parents' aging sedan. Mum opened the door before I knocked. Her eyes were red. Here to gloat? Here to collect? Dad appeared behind her. The lawyers say we might have grounds to contest. No, I cut him off. You don't. But please, waste more money trying. The house was a mess. Half-finished influencer rooms with ring lights and backdrop walls, empty energy drink cans, unpaid bills scattered across imported marble counters. Where's Ruben? Upstairs, Mum whispered. Packing. I climbed the sweeping staircase, each step echoing with satisfaction. Found him in the master suite, surrounded by designer clothes with tags still attached. Come to kick me out personally? The sheriff will handle that next week. He looked up, eyes wet. I really thought I could do it this time. No, you didn't. You thought someone would save you, like always. Mum and Dad are broke because of you. I'll pay everyone back. I've got new opportunities. Stop! I held up my hand. Just stop, he deflated. What happens now? Now? I smiled. Now you leave. The house is mine. You planned this. Yes. Why? I walked to the window, my window now. Remember that red Mustang? What? That was years ago. That was my future you drove away in? This? I gestured around the room. This is karma. It was just a car. No. I turned back to him. It was a choice. Mum and Dad chose you over and over. And now I'm choosing me. The doorbell rang. That's my attorney, I said. Time to sign the transfer papers. I could fight this. With what money? Downstairs, Alejandro had spread documents across the kitchen island. Mum was crying softly. Dad stared at his shoes. Sign here, Alejandro pointed. And here. Initial here. Ruben's hand shook. What about my stuff? You have 48 hours to remove personal items, Alejandro replied. Anything left becomes Ms. Newman's property. Mum stepped forward. Lucille, please. Don't! My voice could have frozen fire. Don't you dare ask for mercy now. We're your family. No. You're the people who taught me that family means nothing without leverage. Ruben signed the last page. Alejandro notarized it. It's done, he announced. I picked up the papers. You can all leave now. Where am I supposed to go? Ruben asked. There's always the guest room at Mom and Dad's. Oh, wait. I pretended to remember. They remortgaged the house for your last failure, didn't they? Mum grabbed her purse. You've become cruel. I've become successful. Isn't that what you wanted? They filed out slowly, Reuben last carrying one designer duffel bag. Sis! He tried one more time. I'm sorry about the car. About everything. No, you're not. You're sorry you finally lost. The door closed behind them. Alejandro touched my shoulder. You okay? I looked around my new house, all 6,000 square feet of revenge served cold. I've never been better. Through the window, I watched them pile into Dad's car. No more borrowed luxury vehicles, no more fake lifestyle posts. Just reality, finally catching up. Mum looked back once. I raised my hand in a small wave. Then I pulled out my phone and texted Nancy, transfer complete. List it for sale tomorrow. Already have interested buyers, she replied. At a significant profit. Perfect. Because this was never about the house. It was about watching them walk away with nothing. Just like I had, that day in the Denny's parking lot. My morning coffee was interrupted by Paige dropping a file on my desk. Interesting application came across my desk, she said. Thought you should see it. I opened the folder and froze. There, under previous experience, was my brother's name. He applied for the junior analyst position, Paige continued. Said he has a sister in finance who could vouch for him. I closed the file. No. That's what I thought. She perched on my desk. But there's more. Your mother left 3 messages with HR about setting up an interview. Of course she did. My phone buzzed. Mom. Please just talk to the hiring manager. He's changed. He needs this. I deleted the message and turned to Paige. Handle it however you want. Already did. But that's not why I'm here. She studied me carefully. The board approved your promotion to managing director. What? Youngest in the firm's history. You've earned it. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I felt empty. That evening I met Alejandro at our usual bar. Managing director. He raised his glass. Congratulations. Thanks. I stared at my untouched drink. Reuben applied for a job at my firm. Bold move. Desperate move. He's been couch surfing since the house sold. And your parents? Downsized to a condo. Dad took a second job. Alejandro leaned forward. You got what you wanted. Why don't you seem happy? Because... I struggled with the words. Because winning feels different than I thought it would. Different how? Empty. I finally took a sip. Like I spent years building this perfect revenge, and now you have to live with it. Yeah. He pulled out his phone. Speaking of living with things, remember that real estate project I mentioned? The community development thing? We're breaking ground next month. Affordable housing for students. Full scholarship program included. I raised an eyebrow. And we need a financial partner who understands the value of education. The irony wasn't lost on me. Using my revenge money to fund scholarships? I laughed. That's a bit on the nose. Better than letting it eat you alive. My phone buzzed again. A text from Dad. I know we don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm proud of what you've become, even if it was in spite of us. Then another. Your Aunt Patricia would be proud too. I showed Alejandro the messages. Well, he asked. Well, what? Are you going to let them keep living in your head rent-free, or are you going to build something better? I thought about my new office, the promotion, the empty victory. Show me the project proposal, I said. He smiled and pulled out his laptop. It's a partnership with State University, 20 units, full ride for students who maintain a 3.5 GPA. As he talked, another text arrived. Reuben. Congratulations on managing director. You deserved it. All of it. I'm sorry I never saw that before. I started typing a response, then stopped. What's wrong? Alejandro asked. Just realizing something. I put my phone away. Revenge feels good for a moment. Building something feels good forever. So show me where to sign. The scholarship program launched 3 months later. No fancy ceremony, no social media posts, no family drama, just quiet impact. My phone still buzzes with family messages. Mum still tries to fix things. Reuben still looks for shortcuts. Dad still sends awkward emojis. But now? Their messages land differently, because while they're stuck in the same old patterns, I'm building something new. Something that turns old wounds into future opportunities. Paige caught me reviewing scholarship applications late one night. This is different than revenge, she noted. Better different, I replied, thinking of Alejandro's words from years ago. You know, she said carefully, healing doesn't mean you have to let them back in. I know. I picked up another application. But it does mean I get to choose what to build next. My phone buzzed. Another text from Ruben. Got a job, a real one. Starting at the bottom this time. For the first time in years, I wrote back. Good. It wasn't forgiveness. It wasn't family reunion time. It was just letting go. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't revenge at all. It's building something so good, so solid, that the past becomes nothing but a foundation for something better. I signed the last scholarship approval and looked out my office window at the city lights. Somewhere out there, my brother was starting over. Somewhere out there, my parents were learning hard lessons. And here I was, finally building something that wasn't about them at all. It was about what came next. And for the first time in a long time, that felt like enough.